Welcome to Attican Plays Railway Empire. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to Railway Empire Back to Basics Mission 5 Part 2. We're continuing our Back to Basics series. We're looking at Mission 5. And in the first part, we got off to a great start, my favorite phrase, but we're qualified making a good start because Leshane, L3, S-H-A-N-E, I believe it is, and I'm just saying Leshane because I don't know how in the world to say that 3, pointed out that I had missed something, and man, what a miss it was. We're going to go look at this train right here, San Francisco, LA. Look at their line. Look at their line. They're going up here to Sacramento to turn around. Why is that? Because dummy here forgot to put the intersection right there. That has got to be fixed. And what I really want to do is open up 3 of these lanes. Well, I need to fix that for that LA San Francisco, and I need to open up another lane. We've got a couple of zeros. We need to have access to one of those for our San Francisco to Promontory Point line. So
everything I do is for the good of California, not for my own enrichment. Yes, that happened as well. But that was just a side effect.
Yes, Collis, yes, we totally believe that everything you've done was for everybody else's good. Yes, we totally get that, Collis. All right, so what we're going to do is grab a line like this and see if we can't connect it. Yeah, we can. It's going to connect to this. Now, this line here actually, in fact, I'm going to drop that and show you. This line here, see, we can't even use it because that station's too close. Now, I'll tell you what we can do. It's interesting. And let's just go ahead and do it. It'll show you something. I'm going to delete that station. Boom. Now, this is a comment that Dexter put in there that is absolutely true. We've seen it before. I've shown you this in other videos, but they were way back in the old series. What we're going to do now is... and we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that, to Dexter's comment and to the what this means. We'll reset that line. I'm going to delete this track, and then we're going to build a connection that allows us to run out of all 4 of those platforms coming out this way. And we're going to have to go pretty far, I think, to get it to connect. If it even will, and it won't. Shoot. Well, you know what? We don't need this lane. This lane is the legitimate home of the San Francisco to Sacramento line. That's where they really belong. But this one we do need. So I'm going to connect it to the system like that. Okay? And similar to the way we would normally have one coming from this one over. We're going to skip that one though, and then we're going to put our X or our diamond junction right out here. And the curve sometimes is pretty long before you can get them to work. There we go, beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to delete that. Oh, no. We're going to move a marker up there closer. Now we've got all 3 of these lanes are accessible by traffic coming this way. And what that's done is give us this lane right here, actually these 2 lanes to use, one of those to use for our other lane, for our San Francisco Promontory Point that's coming up. You see San Francisco to LA is running in here like this. Now the other thing we need to do right away, we need to replace all of our passenger mail lines with this Rogers American. We need the fastest train. 482. So we're going. That's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to wait until we get that money, and then I'm going to tell you something else that I was kind of goofing up. Chief engineer, cheaper buildings. Yes, we'll take you. Thank you. Come along. So let's wait till we have about 500,000, and then we'll upgrade those trains and try to get working on this this line. See how pitiful that is? The main reason it's not making any money is because of that horrible detour it had to take to go up here. And that's also hurting this line. It's tying up this line and causing it to be ineffective because there's just too much traffic in there. So hopefully that'll fix both things. Now we got 10% more innovation or cheaper. First in wins. We'll keep the one we already have. And money. I think what I'm going to do is, as soon as I have enough money to close one of these, I'm going to close one, open a bigger bond, and get this moving. Because time is wasting right now. It really, really is. You may not feel that way, but we are very tight on time right now, and I'll explain that in just a minute. Now, one good thing is by fixing that junction down there, we should see our income increase a lot. So now I want to get this key move and put these passengers and mail on our faster train. There we go. So now we're running the Rogers American on this line. So like here, yeah, okay, I just want to confirm it is the Rogers American. All right, so now we hopefully will see an express status come out of that quickly. Now, let me talk about, got several things to talk about. Oh, didn't we delete this thing? Yes, we did. Okay, so let's go back to the comment, the tip that Dexter left in a comment. If we delete a station, now you would think, we screwed up the line, everything's messed up. Well, really, if we just go back in here and put a small train station back in, close to where we were, okay, like so, and then reconnect these, the track like that, reset, our signals are still good. And I do notice one other problem. This line doesn't have a supply tower, so we're going to give them a supply tower. And then if we look at our two trains, this one, it didn't work. I moved it too far. If you put it right back in the same spot, it would have actually realized, well, that's where I'm going. So I'm going to fix that one now. It immediately springs to life. Let's see our other one. Yeah, it got messed up too. Shucks, that didn't work. I probably moved them over a little bit too far or waited too long, but if I put them right back in the same spot, it would have worked, and the lines would have just gone right back into working for us. All right, so several other things to talk about. One is the movement of passengers and movement of freight. Need to understand this, and this is one of those key concepts people just don't seem to get all the time, and you really need to get it. So we've got a deal here. Let's call them A, B, C, D. We've got 4 cities kind of lined up in a row, right, with the ability to run passengers between them in sets of 2, but not direct lines. Passenger in LA who wants to go to, in other words, who's A and wants to go to C, right? They will go to B, change trains, go to C. They will add to your passengers that are going between A and B in order to get to C. So I don't ever worry about, unless you see me something special like Mission 3 where we did that Chicago transportation hub, I don't worry about having LA to this, LA to that, LA to something else. You don't need it. You just need to get your lines connected up, and if it's a pretty efficient path, they will follow it. So my advice to you is just get your connections on your passenger lines, city to city. Don't worry about making another line from LA to Sacramento, for example. Just don't do it. It's a waste. That's one. But the other side of it is freight. Freight's totally different, almost opposite. Freight, nothing will come out of this city station that isn't produced in this city. So this station will not pick up the stuff in this warehouse. Will not do it. This station will not pick up the cattle that we're bringing in here to the city and move it to Sacramento. It will not do it. If you want to move freight to a city, you need to move it directly to the city or to a warehouse connected to the city. That's the only way it's going to get there. The manufactured goods are different. The city station will pick up the manufactured goods of that city and take it to its target city if that target city needs those goods. So we're going to fix that right now. I'm going to start playing this more the way I like to play. I set up passenger lines here to start with. We're going to convert them all. These are going to go away from being passenger lines, and they are going to become automatic lines. I wish we'd had that a minute ago before I switched out all those trains, but that's okay. Okay, that's a good one. Museum trains gives you more money trade-in value on your old trains. So we're going to switch it to automatic. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to flip through all the San Francisco to Sacramento's, 2, 3, there's 4 of them, and 4, and set them all to automatic. And you know what? We can leave the special cars on there, no big deal. And you notice they actually have express lines there. That's cool. Now we're going to go over here and do the exact same thing. This is the Sacramento to Redding line. We're going to go here, change this to automatic, copy it, and then move to the next one, insert, next Sacramento Redding, insert, and the 4th one, insert. And now we've changed all those to automatic. And they will, and if we watch this one up here, let's see what it does. See there? It picked up beer. So now what we've done is establish, I was going to have special lines over here to do it. Don't want to. I want to go back to the way I like to do it. It's much cleaner. We're going to have passenger, automatic lines connecting all these. And the one we're missing right now is Redding to San Francisco. So we're going to take care of that right now. We're going to fire up an automatic line up here in Redding. Have it go to San Francisco. In Redding, it'll come out of track 3. San Francisco, it'll go into track 3, I think. Yes, that's fine. To track 3. And we'll run our freight train. 1, 2, 3. And then that's Redding, San Francisco, and we'll run 3 back the other way. From here to here, same track, 3 to 3, automatic, 1, 2, 3. So now our beer and meat are going to start moving between the cities, and that's going to allow the manufactured goods to move between the cities. And now we need to take care of our freight. And this is where I was really goofing up, big time. I got so into kind of showing you the theory of how this works and setting these up that I wasn't keeping into account what the cities need right now and how do we get that growth going as soon as possible. Well, we're missing grain and logs, and that's 2 of the most fundamental items that they need to grow. So we need to get that going. So the first thing I'm going to do, though, we've got corn down here. So we're going to set up this little line right here first, and you can see the beginnings of how this design works. We're going to set up a line from corn sugar, which is San Francisco, to Veggie Milk, Sacramento. At corn sugar, you can only pick up corn and sugar because that's what's being brought into your warehouse. So I'm going to click through these until they get the no-go sign. And see, only corn and sugar. At the Veggie Milk side, click through them until we get the no, do not pick up for milk and veggies. There we go. And we'll put 4 trains on this one. See that picking up sugar? 2, 3, 4. So now those trains will balance out those 4 products between these 2 there's two warehouses. We have the corn and sugar coming into this one, the veggies, and eventually the milk into this one. And those trains will go back and forth and balance them out to make sure that all 4 products are in both of those warehouses. Now we're going to go up here and connect this one. But before we do that, we've got to do a very important step and get our grain and our wood. So let's go up here. Small train station. Now, we could take it from here. That's a little closer, but it's extremely awful terrain, just hideous looking terrain. This is, I think, easier. We're going to go up here, grab it out of this one, and run a line between here and here. And notice what it did. This is kind of nice. It made a nice cut through here without, did it do anything extra? There. The big bridge here we don't need. We're going to get rid of that bridge and get rid of that bridge. We don't need that extra bridge. Now look at the elevation change. That's pretty sweet. A little high up here. What can we do about that? Whoa, make it worse. Nope, we don't want a bridge. 5%, 5, 5, 2. That's beautiful. We're going to take that. And then we're going to go back up here. Double track it back. Before I do this, I'm going to go down here and turn those products on. So it's going to take grain, corn, logs, sugar, milk, and veggies, the same ones. Now we're going to bump up the grain to 60 and the logs to 60. Keep the rest at 20. Give it a maintenance.
I've taken a closer look at the numbers. Splendid. This cash surplus is impressive. But I have some good news for you, too. My endless negotiations have finally been a success. Washington has finally agreed. We can expand our network into Utah territory. This will allow us to connect Promontory Point, our meeting point.
Okay, so we passed the 600,000 quarterly revenue mark, and that gave us the ability to go out into Utah. 4, 5, I'm going to run 6 trains down here. So we can now go out here and build. I'll show you that in a second. I want to show you something else while I'm doing that. I'm going to put a supply tower down here close to this end, like the first set of signals. The reason being I want to be able to pick up these logs with that same supply tower. So we're going to build a track. I just ran 6 trains of grain down there. We're going to build a track that comes off like this and goes over here somewhere, and we're going to put a small station out here to pick up the logs and hook that in there, and that looks pretty good. We'll take that, and then we'll click on that cone, come over here and anchor it, and come down and set our junction at the end, set our signals. Make the short blocks to get off the track, and we need to check we made an intersection, so we need to check, and that one's too short. Otherwise it's good, so we're going to set up a line here that goes to here. It's a short line. We'll start with a couple of trains, and now we're going to get grain coming down here to supply Reading and the beer. It needs it for both. And we're going to get logs coming in. But our big thing we need to do now is get this warehouse into our system so that we can balance out the load for all the warehouses. So we're going to go up here and grab that. Let's try it again. We're going to let's just grab the bottom. Is that right? Yeah. Go over here and hook it in and wait till we have a bunch of money. No, of course not. We're going to go with the slope to cut down on the incline. We're definitely getting rid of that tunnel. We're going to go with the slope. Going to have to come off a little bit to get rid of that tunnel, and we're not going to build a bridge, an unnecessary bridge. Go with the slope. Oh, that's nice. So that's $94,000. Got a little slope right there, but it's not bad, and everything else looks really good. Yeah, it looks really good. Okay. And we got some research we can spend. Let's accelerate maintenance and increase the number of passengers. That's always good. Okay. And we'll click. And click. Okay. 98. I'll wait till we get 120 so we can build a supply tower as well. There we go. Our money's starting to come in now. We've got it set. We've got junctions at both ends because we have auto signals on both ends. We'll set our signals and we'll put in a supply tower midway. And now we're going to set up a line that says, okay, go from here and go to here. And what we want to say is you can only pick up grain and logs. And down here you can only pick up veggies and milk. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want a line that goes from here to here. And from here you can only pick up, grain and logs. And down here you can only pick up corn and sugar.
I see your progress, but I'm still afraid that we might not reach Promontory Point in time.
1, 2, 3, and let's do it one going back the other way. Now I'm just going to shoot. Never mind. I'm just going to grab one and copy it and make 6. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now we should be able to feed stuff down here and down here. You notice it's picking up logs. I think one of the reasons is, yeah, we're having a hard time keeping up. This guy's really consuming the grain to fill up his little internal warehouse. So it should get better now. And what we'll have to watch is, are we running enough trains? We are, because we're stopped seeing Beatrix is even competing with us. So we're getting all we can out of that for now. Are we getting all the logs we can? Yeah, we are, because we've got that train is just pointing. No, we could do another log train. We'll add another one. All right, so now we should start seeing all of our cities growing. See how Sacramento, look at that. Look how happy they are. That's because now they're getting grain, they're getting logs, they've got meat, they're even getting cattle, but that's diminishing. We're going to fix that. Okay, we got another fix in mind for that. In fact, we've got $8.99. What do we need to do?
You have created the first express connection between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Good.
The journey time along the West Coast has decreased dramatically.
Okay, we got our express connection to LA. That's excellent. Now, slow down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy this meat because it's redundant to our system. We don't need it. I'll explain in a minute. We're going to demolish it. We're going to put in a weaving factory. Okay, and let's put it up here. Okay, and pause. Now, we still have a task. 8 rural businesses. We only got 6, so pause. Now, we've got to get our milk in, and now we've got this textiles, which needs cotton. So you can see what 2 we're going to put in, can't you? All right, so I think we'll do it from the from here. Let's see. We'll go here. Come up here and join this line right there. And you know what? Before I even do that, we're going to fix something here. We've got a merge here that we just don't need because we've got 2 more sockets over here we can use. So we're going to cut this line back. I'm actually just going to kill the whole line. And we're going to take this line and run it in. I'd love to pick up that supply tower, although it's not the world's biggest steel, but I think it'd actually make other mergers easier. So let's go in here like this, like this, like this. Now the question is, can they make that curve? Let's find out. This curve right here, yes, they can. All right, good. Okay. Okay, so now we've reconstructed this line right here, and he should work just fine. Good, good, good. And now we're going to go back to our milk. Build a line up like this. Have it connect into the one we just cleaned up, and have it go. I'd like to have it come in right there. Get rid of that big bridge. That's awfully steep. Does it need to be that steep? No, if we soften it a little, soften the angle a bit, we can make it here. If we soften the angle a bit and then knock it down, that'll do right there. That's good. But we don't want this giant bridge for sure. Turn across there. There, that's better. Okay, there we go. So now we can set up a milk line that goes in here. We'll need to anchor it and then connect it and shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I softened it too much. Kill that. Doggone it. All right, let's try this again. Let's go up this way where we're, let's go up here to that signal. Cross over right there. That's better. I think that's better. Okay, come on down here, like so, into this. Much better. Steep right there, but we'll live with that. Okay. Anchor it and come back and double track it. And set our signals. I want to give it an extra supply tower. And now we can run milk into there. Okay, now we need to get our 8th connection, and that's an easy one to do because we've got textiles, we need cotton. So we're going to grab the, and where are we going to put it? The warehouse is full. So we could either put another station in here and like bridge into it. But I think the easiest thing for us to do is look at a warehouse. So let's save up a little bit of money. Personnel, we'll hire these folks. Reporter, don't care about. More passenger revenue, sure. Quicker maintenance, sure. Whoops, we'll hire this guy. And now, a little bit more money. Let's get a couple hundred so we can talk this through. Okay, now, let's go out here and look at a warehouse. We could connect another warehouse to Sacramento. If we put it up here, though, you'll notice we're not getting the catchment. It's not close enough. We can put it in here, but if we're going to do that, we could just put a station in here. It would actually be a simpler thing. So, but the other thing we can do is get a big warehouse, which has a bigger catchment area. And I'm using Control Q to kind of turn it around a little bit to line it up. And if we move it right over here and kind of line it up with that warehouse like that, now this warehouse is in the catchment area, or another way of putting it, connected to Sacramento. So what we're going to do here is then run our track off of this and then kind of connect it into this line right here. Yeah, like so. We'll just open up the first two. We can open up more if we need to later. Okay, and we'll give it signals. Remember, it's not an auto, and we'll look for opportunity to put signals in that's too tight. All that's too tight, so that's okay. We don't need. They come from here and decide if they're clear to go. And now we can. Now we've created the opportunity to connect up our last one of these. We just need a little bit more money so we can get this cotton, and all we have to do is hook it into this line, and we can run it to this warehouse over here. In fact, we'll even, just to be kind of consistent with it, we'll take this warehouse and we'll name it that looks like corn, so let's make it the cotton warehouse. We set up a small train station, attach it to the cotton, and then just run down here and hook into that like so. That looks pretty good.
The many farms
There we go.
connected
Finished
to the
off
rail
another
network will
task.
bring us lots of transport requests. We could do with the money.
And we're going to go up here and go like so. And then we're going to run cotton, run them full into that warehouse up there. And nothing's happening because I've got to tell this cotton warehouse, you take cotton, and we'll just take max, whatever much you want to bring, do repairs. Now we should be good to go. Now Sacramento just grew. Okay. San Francisco is growing. Sacramento just went through a phase of growing, hit a boundary, probably 40,000. Reading is growing. Now, we would like to put another industry in here that works. Notice that 97% demand. Tailors, we don't have tailors yet because we don't have any cities big enough to demand the clothing. So we've got to watch our city's growth. See, we're at 45,000 here in San Francisco and growing nicely. We're at 41 here and growing. We have this business opportunity. We've got nothing to put in there just yet. And see here, Reading probably has another opportunity. Yeah, see the circle here on the mini map? And I don't know if I've talked about the mini map. Great tool. Someone suggests I use it. Wouldn't do without it now. Shows me all the cities on the map. Shows me the competitors, the orange and the yellow, and us, the cities we control. This is Promontory Point, special one for our case. And the circles show us all the business opportunities in these cities. And down here, we've got the gold and blue, says that we've got a station there. And Doc Murphy, our gold guy, has a station down here. Very useful, and we can quickly move. I'm going to Promontory Point. I'm going to San Francisco. I'll go up here to Portland. I'll go back to San Francisco. It's awesome. All right, so that's the mini map. What else we got going? Oh, so what we want to do now, let me explain about a 3-city cluster, any cluster in my little system of the world, my view of the world. You want to have complementary industries in all your cities. So, and they all need to be unique. And look at this son of a gun, some idiot put beer in San Francisco. Who did that? That's no good. It'll actually work, but it's no good. It's no good. We have beer. We have beer in Reading. So we could knock that down, put something else in, similar to what we did with this meat. But we'll wait on that for right now because we've got an opportunity to put a city building here, but we don't have enough. We don't have one opening up, a new one yet. So that brewery does not belong there, but it actually would work. Again, like I said, but we're going to wait until we let's look at our demand. when we get to 55,000, they're going to start wanting clothing. And when we get to 60, they're going to start wanting lumber, 65 liquor, and 70 dairy products. And those are the next 4 industries we could build. And we're going to watch till we get up to that point. And let's just see how we're doing on everything else. We've got this. We're looking really good. We've got this growing. We've got this growing. We're going to start working on our, well, actually, you know what? Before we do this, let's make sure we've got these industries balanced out. I'm just really pissed about this beer down here. Never should have happened. We want to watch this, and as soon as we can put in a Taylor, let me pause it so I can talk about this. Someone asked me, does it work to put like Taylor and textiles and Taylor in the same city? Absolutely works perfectly. If you have cotton coming to this, the cloth that's produced here will automatically go to your other industry that needs it here, and then any excess cloth will be shipped out to your rest of your cluster, and any clothing that isn't consumed here will be shipped out to the rest of your cluster. Works absolutely beautifully. You can also alternatively, if we knock this beer down, we could put a Taylor down here, and then we would ship the cloth down here, actually get paid for carrying the freight, and that would work as well beautifully. Okay, so either way works just fine. What I really want, I want this here. I think I want a Taylor here, and then I want to put a sawmill up here because this is right where the lumber comes in. It'll be easy to keep it stocked. And then we would have 5 out of 6, and then we would decide if we want to dump that beer. And that beer would actually work because we're going to get grain, but I don't really want that grain being eaten up by the beer. So I really want to get rid of that beer industry. And if I had a different one to put in right now, I would just go ahead and do it. So
Thanks to your
enough
work,
of that.
San Francisco is on the way to becoming a real metropolis.
Okay, San Francisco's hit 50. That's great. That finished off one of our things. When it's at 60, we'll put a university in. But we want it to get to 55 because that's going to open up the Taylor. So we got to keep it. And look at this. Some idiot put meat in Sacramento. No, I'm not an idiot. I mean, it's a perfectly legit thing to do, but it's bugging me, I can tell you that much. Okay, so we're just going to watch this for a minute and watch San Francisco grow. When it gets to 55, we're going to take some action. We got plenty of money, so we can do it. We want to win all these bids. It moves our research forward. Doc wants a piece, but we're not going to let him have it. Okay. Speaking of research, more mail profit, lower maintenance requirements, hire all these people. We're caught up here. That's good. We're watching this city grow. As soon as it hits 1,000, we're going to take action. I mean 55,000. Okay, there we go. Okay, pause. Now we've opened up the Taylor. Let's go buy this meat in Sacramento. We're going to buy this. Remember, this is one of our special things. Our character could buy this stuff without an auction. We're going to knock it down. We're going to replace it with a Taylor. We're going to put a Taylor out here. Now, that business is automatically fed. I do want this market crier, by the way. Give us some more people. There you go. That Taylor's automatically a good business because he's getting weaving straight from there, right? And we're supplying this with cotton. So those are great. And the excess will be shipped off to the other 2 cities and help them grow, help us make more money. Now we want to watch San Francisco grow some more because when it hits 60, we're going to put a lumber mill up and ready. There we go. And pause. And we can also, that also means that we can put our university in
And as is proper
San
for a
Francisco
metropolis,
and
San
fulfill
Francisco
another
now
task.
also has a university.
Still, and we got all our optional tasks done now with gold stars. That's good. And we're going to go up here to Reading, and we're going to knock down this redundant Taylor, buy it out, demolish it, and replace it with a really useful sawmill. And now that sawmill will automatically be supplied. We've got lumber coming down here. It'll have a good supply. It'll create lumber that'll be used in Reading and be shipped off to the other cities. Sacramento has already grown enough to put in a museum. So we're going to put in a museum to help Sacramento grow. Remember, that's one we have to get to 100,000. So the only bad business we've got right now would be the beer in San Francisco. And I'm going to knock it down, but we have to wait until we get a city. Ooh, we just got bad condition on a train. Oh. Well, I knocked it down. We didn't get our repairs put back in. Now, we're going to stop for a second, and we're going to look at San Francisco growth. As soon as it hits 65, we're going to stop again and do another transaction. And then I think we'll be done. We'll just declare success on our city growth. All right, 65. We're going to buy this guy right here. We're going to knock it down. We're going to replace it with something. Now we can replace it with. The only thing we're going to replace it with a distillery because that's all we can do. We're going to put a distillery way up here in San Francisco. Now, that distillery needs both sugar, which it's already getting directly, and it needs fruit. So how are we going to get fruit into San Francisco? Because this is full, remember. Everything's kind of crowded. Well, this is actually surprisingly easy. What we're going to do is go down here. We're going to expand the station. Then we're going to go through our little process we talked about of if I have a 1 and I want to go to a 2, what do I have to do? I'm going to delete that track, and I didn't have to mark it because I had this supply tower to cut me off. And we're going to, now that we've expanded to 2, we're going to reconnect everything into both tracks like that. And then we're going to put our platform, our junction in front of it, reset our signals. There we go. All right, now we need fruit over there. How are we going to get fruit? Fruit's over here. So we can either bridge over this and come down, or we can join and come over. I think given the odds, the angles, I think we'll just bridge. We're going to go like this. Build a line like this that goes over that, goes around the cattle ranch, but then comes in and hooks into it, into the track like that. Soften that a little bit and go over here, and we don't need quite that much bridge. 200 grand. 204. That looks pretty nice. That looks pretty nice. We'll accept that. We'll go over here. And notice, by the way, this is a pattern I always follow. I don't mind the bridges so much when I have a lot of money. Well, we got a lot of money now, and our money's coming back to us quickly. We actually have a system going now. So now it's got supplies down here. We could give it an extra one up here just to be safe. And now what we're going to do is run fruit full into San Francisco, give it a train, give it a refrigerator car, and see how long it takes. 44 days. So how much fruit do we want? Let's go through the process of figuring out how many trains to run. The need in San Francisco for fruit is 1. Let's double that up to 2 to allow for growth. So it needs 2 every 7. Our train can do 7 every 44. If we divide the 7 into 44, that's 6, a little over 6. 6 times 2 is 12. A couple of trains would actually work. We'll do 3. That's 1, 2, 3. we'll do 3, and that should keep us in a nice supply of alcohol, which is automatically being shipped out to all the other cities and consumed in San Francisco. Now we've got 2 good businesses there, 2 good businesses there, 2 good businesses there. We are rocking and rolling, making plenty of money. And now I want to stop for a moment and talk about a comment that Robert Wicks left on one of the videos. I don't know even which one it was. So thank you, Robert, for the excellent comment. He talked about factories. And I haven't talked about this in the Back to Basics series. I have talked about it in others. Factories are very useful. They make good money, but they really don't make money like freight and passengers. Let's just look right here. We did really well last quarter, 2.3 million profit. Passengers, fourth quarter, 867. Mail, 736. Industry, 238. Freight, 712. Your industries are not the best thing in this game. They do make money. They're great. But here's the main thing for them. Strategically, for city growth, to build these clusters and have the right industries in these clusters to help fulfill city demand, that's where you make your money, because what it does is it makes the cities bigger. Now our passenger and mail lines are bigger and bigger and making more and more money. And look at the profits we're starting to make each week on this LA San Francisco line. You follow all that? So your city, you definitely don't want to have an early factory approach. It doesn't work. The only one we did was that early beer, and we did that because there was no beer anywhere, and you really want beer meat lines. Otherwise, you can't get any initial city growth. So we put in the beer to give us beer meat, but we held off on the rest of this until we had good money, and now we've got good money and we can build out this the way we want it and cause these 3 cities to just grow like crazy, and they'll just keep right on growing here for quite a while until they just sort of hit a wall, and then we would have to go in and adjust and fix and what have you. But right now we're probably good for the rest of the game with what we've got now with 6 good industries in there. That's just lovely. All right, let's see what else we have to do. They're growing. That's great. All we have to do now is get our passengers going to Promontory Point. Okay, and we've got some money now. Let's do it. Let's see. Hire that person. Headhunters, I don't have any luck with. I don't typically use them. All right, so where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Okay, I think I want to come right off of this, where this supply tower is. Remember, this is the passenger line, LA San Francisco. We're going to come off of this, and what we got to do now is work our way. Whoops. We've got to work our way. We've got to go up this hill, and now we've got to go all the way to Promontory Point, and we need to be on this side. Okay. So there you can see a straight line just takes us right through the mountain, right through a whole bunch of other mountains, right over a lake. No good. So we're going to curve it some. We don't need to go be building a bridge over the Great Salt Lake. We've got a business right here. We can cut right underneath it. And what I think I want to do is go over here to Elko. If we go over toward Elko, so let's drag this line. We click and drag this line over this way, like this. Get rid of that bridge. Get rid of that tunnel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is build this line, basic principles, try to avoid giant slopes, may have to have some because of the terrain and the angles and stuff, but avoid giant slopes and avoid tunnels and bridges unless they have to be built. And come down like this. And even though we have money, I'm not a big fan of building a bridge to nowhere. It's just, there's no point in it. Okay, that'll, oh, nope, there's a bridge right there we don't need. Now, we can soften that a little bit by a little bit of earthworks, and we're good. Still good. Oh, where do we want to go from here? We want to go down through here, down through this valley into this valley. Okay. So we want to grab this, come over here, like so. Let's see. We'll get rid of that one. Yeah. Let's see here. We don't want that bridge. We don't want that bridge. So we'll come back over here, put in another anchor, see what happens when we take this one out. Okay. Looking good so far. Come on down here, straighten that out, and then now shoot. Let's drive this down a little bit. Okay. All right, that's looking good. All right. We could probably drive this down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Now we need to come over here. Oh, look at this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's looking pretty good, except for this bridge right here. And this tunnel right here, which we just don't need. Okay, now we're going to have to come up off the seacoast and come up the mountain. That's okay. I don't mind that a bit. We've got one steep point. The rest of it's pretty good, and it's not horribly expensive. So let's buy that, and let's see if we can't double track it all the way back. Anchor it on the side we want, and then go in and put it in the intersection. And there's obviously a problem somewhere. I bet it's right up at the beginning. Yeah, it doesn't like that curve. Shoot. Maybe we can take this part and back it off to right there. We'll accept the rest of it. And then we'll see what we have to do to make this work. So the part it doesn't like is turning like that. So that's the inside. So we're going to make that part work first. Like that. See if we can do it without a bridge. Maybe not. Maybe a little bridge wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, a little bridge. Let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. Okay, try this again. It likes that part. Now, can we make it like this part? It's got a big slope right there, but that's okay. We can live with that. Now let's put our switch in here at this end. And we've got a switch on the, a switch or junction on this end. We've got an intersection at the other end. So we should be good to go here. Now we're going to put intermittent supply towers, always on top of sets of signals. Do one more right here, and then let's go back up here. One thing I forgot to do while I was up here, it's a long haul, so we want repairs on both ends. So now we can start firing up trains that go from here, track 4. Passenger and mail only, 2. And I'm going to hit the mini map. Promontory Point. We'll give it a track 1. Go. We'll give it the Rogers, and we'll give it the cars. And we might as well give it that conductor right there. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to watch them as they come out. When they pass this supply tower, I'll spam another one. That gives them a little bit of time to build up some passengers at the station. Spreads them out a little. I typically don't micromanage the creation of the trains this much, but because it's such a long line, and since it's the last task we have, what else have I got to do? Sacramento's up to 90,000, still growing. Okay, we got room for an industry. Is there something good we could put? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. We can put a milk industry, a dairy, in Sacramento because we know we've got milk coming into this one right here, and since we've done that, we may want to run some more milk. Let's run some more milk. And let's go back here and let's spam another train. Okay, we got a little more research. Oh, we can get the Rogers Mogul now, and we can replace all of our mixed use. Where are they? Let's go up here to suitability, mixed. And that's going to replace all those Tyson 10-wheelers. So now we've replaced all our Tyson 10-wheelers with Rogers Mogul, so our freight lines are better. We're already running the Rogers American for our passenger and mail lines. Oh, we got some spies. We'll send one on Doc and one on Beatrix, and we should get some nice research out of that. And I want to spam another train here.
Thanks to your work, Sacramento has become one of the most influential cities and a hub for our rail network.
Excellent. Sacramento's grown. I also saw a message that Reading has grown. We're kind of past caring, but at the same time, is there a good industry we could put in there? Oh, geez, we haven't even given them. All right, a good industry for them would be a paper mill would be excellent. So make some paper. Now we're really, well, that's okay. We've still got logs. I think we might want to do maybe one more log train here since we are going to tap that supply even more. And we could always give them we can do anything. I always like museums. Sorry, I can't help it. We're going to put a museum in there, keep that growth going high, high, high. Reading's great. Sacramento's great. Let's get that technology. San Francisco's still growing. We could, by the way, knock down this university. I'm going to knock down the university. I'm going to put in a museum and keep that city growth up because I just like city. The other thing we could do is put an attraction in San Francisco so more passengers would be coming back, both from Promontory Point and from LA and from our other two cities. But I love museums. They're my favorite buildings, in case you haven't noticed. Okay, hire that guy. Mediator, we don't care. Chief engineer, yeah, we'll hire him. We've obviously lost the other one we had. It's been stolen from us. Increase the number of passengers, that's very good. That'll help us get that last task done. We're already at 36, and we're gold all the rest of the way, so we're looking good. San Francisco just grew again. Okay, so San Francisco's ready for another industry. What can we give them? Paper, sawmill, furniture. Oh, we don't have. Oh, it's too bad we can't do furniture. The rest of these, the tools and ceramics get more difficult. I'm just going to pass for now because we're almost done. We're just almost done.
You have transported the first passengers from San
are
Francisco
done.
to Promontory Point. A journey like that would have been inconceivable until recently.
Let's see how we did. We'll skip the cutscene. There we go. We got our president, 9 out of 9, 20 out of 20. Perfect score. Took us 2 years and 8 months. And I think we got a lot done there. I want to recap because I think we covered a lot of good stuff there. We covered the way passengers flow, the way freight flows. We covered the mini-map. We covered the kind of your strategy for factories, which is don't rely on them early, but make sure you get the right ones later if you're doing city growth, which is the way I tend to play almost always, unless the scenario just forces me to go a different way. So you want to manage it. Okay, well, let's talk about a 3-city cluster. We built a 3-city cluster. We had automated lines running between Redding and Sacramento, Redding and San Francisco, San Francisco and Sacramento to carry manufactured goods. We set up a warehouse. This particular design, there are others that I use, but this particular design, we put a warehouse on each city. We ran 2 products into this warehouse, 2 different ones into this one, and 2 other ones into this one. Then used trains to shuttle back and forth and balance the load so that we were keeping goods in all the warehouses, bringing them from their source warehouse to the other warehouse and just shuttling back and forth. And again, we need 3 connections: Redding to San Francisco, Redding to San Francisco, Redding to Sacramento, and Sacramento to San Francisco. And we use the technique with the you can't take, you can't take, you can't take, you can't take, must take kind of technique. All right, so that gave us a beautiful city growth. And once we got that going, the city growth was done. And the only thing we had to manage then was the industry. So we made sure that we got good industry. So we've got meat and a distillery, meat and whiskey in San Francisco. We've got weaving and tailor and dairy in Sacramento, and we've got beer and lumber and paper in Redding. So that's all excellent. That worked great. And then all we had to do really after that was, of course, run our line to Promontory Point. The express line, of course, I goofed that up at one point. So again, thanks to LaShane for pointing that out, or however you say your name, pointing that out so I could fix that. If I hadn't fixed that, I would have been so frustrated. Would I have noticed it? I'd like to think I would have, but who knows? I might never. Well, I know I would have eventually, because I would have just looked at those numbers for this line, and I know that this is the kind of numbers you're supposed to get, not $900. That's the kind of numbers you're supposed to get. And then we got the best train we could get on there, the Rogers American, to make sure we got the express line. And I think that's about all we covered on this one, isn't it? That's the most of it. There were a few other little things, but hopefully you enjoyed that, got something out of it. And let me know in the comments if you want me to keep going with this series and, play some of the other scenarios and kind of show you some more techniques. But you've got a pretty good, right now, if you follow through this series so far, right through the beginning, right through Mission 5 Part 2, this one, you should have a pretty solid understanding. I can tell you will be a really good player at this game if you just follow those techniques and stay with them until they become second nature to you. You will be a good player in this game. I hope you enjoy the game. I think it's a great game, and I hope you're enjoying this series. I've certainly enjoyed making it for you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Railway Empire video. Thank you.